Carolyn, and I work at GlassEyesOnLine.com with my husband, Jerry. We sell glass eyes, safety eyes and noses, and joints for a wide range of products, including sculpture, carving, teddy bear eyes, dolls, puppets, crocheted and sewn toys, fish lures, decoys. If it has eyes, a nose, or moving joints, it may have come from GlassEyesOnline.com. I also write articles for my blog and our monthly newsletter. Recently, I had an opportunity to meet up in Google Hangouts with Marina, the founder, CEO, and creative director of the Beatties organization. She's a puppeteer, a performing artist, and a patient advocate through the merging of the creative arts with medicine. You're about to see our recording of my conversation with Marina about puppetry, the Beatties organization, and more. I was wondering how you, and I think other people would be interested to know also, how you got interested in puppetry.
I was doing animation. Well, actually, I was doing fine arts, and then I found myself in animation, and I was making stop motion puppets and working on filmmaking, and I realized that I just, animation is very solitary. You know, you're kind of alone in a room with the animation for hours and hours and hours, and I realized I was very an interactive and connection-based person. So I was like, well, maybe, you know, maybe this isn't for me. And I just went into a library and started looking at books about puppetry. And then I found theater puppetry. And they were referring to puppetry for the stage also as animation. And I said, oh, maybe I'm in the wrong kind of animation. So that's kind of how I originally found my way there. And then I went to Berlin, and they have an amazing puppetry school there. And that's where I really discovered the art of performance and the art of puppetry performance. And I came back to the States, and I spent one semester at UConn, which has the University of Connecticut, which has a really, one of two, really three programs in the United States for puppetry. And so it's kind of been an ongoing journey since then.
Wow, that is so cool. So University of Cannes, if people are interested in getting more involved with puppetry. Okay,
yeah, cool. University of Connecticut, and they have an annual, the O'Neill Puppetry Conference. It's like a week-long intensive, people interested in spending 6 days.
Okay, sometimes it freezes up and I'm not sure if you can hear me. Okay, and then do you design your own puppets that you perform with?
I do both. Meaning I design some of my own. I don't really think of myself as like as a builder. There are amazing puppetry builders. And honestly, in running an organization, I just don't have the time for that. Right. I respect that craft very much. So it's a bit of both. I mean, we definitely make props and various elements. For example, for a little bit of show and tell. Yeah. You know, the Beatties was born when I asked myself what would happen if I turned my diabetes into a puppet. And then I asked myself, well, what would the diabetes look like, you know? And all it started with was a glove, a simple glove. You know, in part the idea because you put the glove on, right? And now I've been diagnosed, but now I can't take the glove off for type 1 diabetes, yeah? And then all we do is I put eyes on him. And he's actually not fully, hello.
Oh, that's so cute.
Oh, don't you just look darling.
How did you get the eyes on? I think I missed that part. Are they
Yeah, so and these are not complete, because obviously, that looks quite clunky, where this is BD's version 4.0, so he's in process. I'm always in process. Yes, you are. So it's just Velcro. And we've tried
wonderful.
We tried a lot of different attachments, and this one, we tried magnets, but that would interfere with a wireless mic. We tried the backs of the eyes. We put them like inside on a different glove, but it just wasn't stable enough to get in. So we returned to Velcro, which was the first option that I started with. And I was like, we should get fancier. And then it's like, this seems to work.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of an exploration around that.
Well, when I saw your video last year after you had ordered some eyes from us, I realized that there might be a problem with the stem. And so when I sent out a box recently, I sent out some flat back eyes for you to test out and see.
Well,
and they probably will fit.
I appreciate that. And the way that we came to that was
oh, cool.
This is how we so the idea is like this is part of with kids, we have these workshops where they make their own beaties.
Right.
So kids who live with diabetes make their own little mini beaties puppets. And so we really need a quick and easy way for them to make these. So all we do is, we glue that stem inside the pom-pom and then just on a little, what's this called? A fuzzy stick? What's these things called? And then kids, you can just loop it around your finger. Right?
Oh, that is so cool.
And then there you go. Wow, look at me. And you could snip that so it's a little shorter. And then we do this with, we have different gloves that we actually, we ordered a bunch of gloves, a bunch of white parade gloves, and then kids get to choose their color. These are actually still damp because we were just dyeing them.
Okay.
And, and then there you go. There's like one variation of a beaties.
Oh, that is cute. Okay, so that's one of your newer 4.0 versions?
Yes.
3.0. Yeah.
So beautiful. Oh my God. Look at me. Wow. Wow. Yes, you're a darling. I'm so beautiful.
That's adorable. So do you have a lot of help with dyeing and putting together these eyes, or do you get volunteers to help you, or how do you work that?
Yeah, right now we have an amazing intern who's helping us get ready for our summer season. We're a tiny and mighty startup not-for-profit, so our programming is growing in scale. It's not yet at the point where we've hyperventilated so much about the production of this. But yeah, I mean, we're ramping up. Like we have to make 400 items for the summer season. So it's a lot, but it's also we've really, that's why we really simplified and looked like what is the quickest, easiest, but also beautiful and fun. And that gives kids lots of variation. And like, even in the dyeing, I mean, we're not, we're just mass dyeing lots of gloves. Right now, we just have this color, but we have 8 other colors. And there's like lots of variations in that. And I think that's wonderful, because that's another, it's another way that kids can make a choice of like, actually, I like this pattern on the fabric, and then kids on top of this, they choose various elements to decorate, including using their diabetes supplies to include into the puppets that they make. So
oh, that's cool. That is so cool. So do you so basically you're a small non-for-profit. So do you consider that your business, or Do you also work for a corporation or a company or a university or?
Yeah, so a not-for-profit is a business in terms of that we need revenue to stay alive. But our reason for being is not profit, but is our mission, right? So of course we need to generate revenue in order to stay afloat and get the people that we need on our team in order to serve people who live with chronic health conditions. And our mission is to employ the performing arts to help people with chronic conditions form a flourishing relationship with their health. And what that really means is that we focus on the emotional life of people who live with chronic health conditions. And at this point, we've focused on and we've delivered our programming to all sides of the ecosystem right now. So this is our children's programming, but we have programming for adults, we have programming for teens, and we have programming also for clinicians so that they can better connect to their patients. So, you know, it's kind of a dynamic. I've never formed an organization before, so there's been a lot of learning, and we do, you know, we do have corporate support for our programs, and that helps us deliver our work into the world. You know, and of course they have no influence on any of the content, but they deliver community impact because we are a community grassroots-based arts and health organization.
So you get most of your funding through grants and corporate sponsorships? Is that basically where it comes from?
Yeah, it's a mixture of multiple sources, that's right.
Uh-huh. So do you have anything coming up that you're really looking forward to working on? Any big project you're working on now?
Yeah, well, we're in production for our summer season at the moment. So we have a program coming up in California, and that's actually sponsored by Insulet, which is a pump company. But that's at a diabetes camp, and we're returning to that camp for a second year in a row, and working with a new set of families. And that's out in the mountains in California, right outside of LA. Then I'll be doing 2 hospital presentations to clinicians and healthcare providers about our programming and our work. And following that, we have actually one of the biggest programs we've ever done in Florida, in Orlando, called Children with Diabetes, Friends for Life. It's a beautiful conference that's been, I believe, over a decade now. And they've grown such a strong community, and it serves families and children with type 1 diabetes. And we're bringing our full family show and program, part of which is these Make Your Own Beaties puppet workshop. So we're super excited about that, and also like in production. There's a lot to prepare.
Busy.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me, because it does sound like you've got a lot going on right now.
Well, I mean, I really, when I found you guys, when I found GlassEyesOnLine, I was like, oh my gosh, this is one. These are all the teddy bears I've ever owned. Like, these are the eyes. Now I'll never pass a toy in the same way again. But I also love that you guys were handmade, US based, you know, just a real, it's the kind of business that we want our work to help support, and then your work helps support us. So I really...
Well, thank you very much. So you guys do a newsletter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if somebody's interested in your organization and what you do, they can reach you through the Beaties organization. It's called Beaties.com.
It's the
right?
Beaties.org or
Beaties.org. Okay. And they can sign up for your newsletter.
Yeah, there's a little tab right on top of the website that says join the Beaties newsletter. And we don't send any spam. We send just a once a month kind of update on what's happening with us and what's exciting. and we really make sure that we provide value for our readership. So it's not just about us. We also bring in lots of things that affect the both the chronic health community and then also the arts community. It's an interesting blend of both worlds.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I really love about it. So, do you have? I understand that you have diabetes, and we didn't really talk much about that. But I was wondering if you have any messages for our folks that read our newsletter and read our blog about how they can be supportive of people who have diabetes.
Sure. I would first just little kind of mini diabetes education 101 that type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes are two different conditions. They have different causes, but that both any chronic health condition is not the person's fault. Don't make assumptions. Ask the person what this is for them and how this is a part of their life, or how it affects them. Because the biggest courtesy that we can do to someone, whether about chronic disease or otherwise, is to really respect the integrity of the person being a full human being, right? So diabetes or any other chronic illness affects people's lives, and that's something that our culture isn't so good at listening to, which is part of the reason why I founded this organization. So just listen, just ask. There's lots of stories everywhere, and don't make assumptions.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, it sounds like your message is to not make assumptions, ask questions, and be open to hearing what they have to say.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool. Well, and I think it's wonderful that you give a voice, a different voice to these children, a way for them to communicate, and adults to communicate. Hard for them to communicate through puppetry. It's such a cool, unique, creative way of teaching and others about what's going on with them and how they're feeling. And I've seen some of your work through recordings for healthcare providers in educational workshops. And I felt like I was learning too. So that was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I guess this is it for me. Do you have any questions you want to ask us, or anything you want to say other than what we talked about?
I love GlassEyesOnLine. I've become a really I'm somebody who enjoys the personal relationship as well as the business relationship, and I love that you guys, again, I mean, I said this already, but that it's handmade, homegrown, US based, and just such a, I mean, I sense care in every set of eyes that I receive.
We do try. We really try. We make mistakes, but we try. We do.
And I feel that as a person who receives like a bunch of these hilarious looking eyeballs, in these tiny little packages. So
right.
I just really, I really admire and respect that, and I'm really happy that that we found you.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm happy you're out there too. Keep up the good work.
If you guys are looking, if your readership is looking for a cause to support, check us out. We are thebeaties.org, the Beaties organization.